Hey y'all, Bree here. I just remember when we first got engaged, really when we were dating, I said, I put a plate out for you.
And she put a plate out.
How did we navigate that? How we navigate the good things and the bad things. So on our YouTube channel, we just kind of talk about that. Give y'all some insight, not trying to give advice, because we know marriage can be this process that we go through. We just want to invite y'all along in our process. So just subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we hope that we can be just encouragement for y'all, and we hope y'all watch. Hey y'all, my name is Bree.
And I'm Josh.
Yes, can we just celebrate this almost color coordination that we got going on?
Brim.
It's a little salmon theme. So today the question that we want to ask is, how do we respond as a couple when our goals change individually?
Yes. How do we respond as a couple when our goals change individually? I like that. And we're talking about this in the context of career, passions, goal, talk, all of that type of talk. We feel like we've just been navigating this past year.
Yes.
And we just want to kind of get into that conversation now. You may be wondering, why do we have these conversations? Now, I remember when we was younger.
We weren't that young.
It was about a year and a half ago. But I remember just about to be married and going around and having conversations with different couples, different married couples, and just asking them questions because I wanted to know what it was like on the other side. Yeah. So I think one of our hearts behind why we have these conversations is because we want to give insight, not advice, to others that are in the same position or others that may have been married for a few years and are just kind of navigating, because we believe we are living examples, but not perfect examples, right? We're not perfect examples. We're living examples. And I think that we, in having these conversations, we hope that it's just helpful to help others navigate. So question we're looking to answer today is how to respond as a couple when your goals change individually. That's a doozy.
Yes, it is a doozy. So here's what I remember. Well, it wasn't too long ago, obviously, but Josh had been navigating different careers, but something that I knew he was passionate about was videography.
Josh has been navigating different careers. What does that mean?
You did car sales when you first got here.
Yeah.
And then you moved into video.
Yeah.
You did that for like a year and a half.
Like 2 years. No, remember I was at the other place.
What you mean?
I was at the other church before I was at this church.
But you were still doing videography.
For a few years. I know that's more than 2 years. I'm trying to say that's more than a year and a half. That's like 4 years.
Context is you were doing videography.
Yeah.
And now
I did freelance video before too.
He did.
Okay. Just wanted to give context.
Context is that he has done video for some time.
Okay.
And now you switch roles into the preteen director for the kids ministry.
Okay.
So
4th and 5th grade.
Preteen, 4th and 5th grade. Yes, friends. So what I was getting ready to say is that Josh has been doing video for some time as a job. Mm-hmm. I knew that you enjoyed doing it all to the side, but as a job for a few years. Mm-hmm. Okay. So because I knew that was just like the mindset of like, oh, like Josh is going to stay in this career, doing video. Not only can he do it for the church, but he's doing freelance. He's getting opportunities where he's just meeting other people. So I just thought your world was video. And so as we even do this podcast, it's some form of videography.
It is.
Okay. Had to make sure I got that right. So, but what was interesting is that when you did switch roles to the preteen director, I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. But this is about to be different because of what I was used to you doing prior to. So right, this is a conversation of like, how do I respond as you change your goals or your career individually?
Yeah. And to set up and what I'm hearing, because there are, yes, those are the things that I were doing, but I'm curious, are they, what were the expectations or implications of me working video versus me now working in another area that like existed for you?
Yeah. So I mean, with any videography thing, though we both saw that you had these giftings and these talents to like speak in front of people and to communicate. I was just used to you always being behind the camera and always kind of, kind of thinking about it as like you were just someone who, yeah, if you were in front of people, cool, but like I just saw you behind the camera all the time. So I think my expectation is that, yeah, you would still kind of do what you loved behind the camera. And if you stepped in front of it, like, yeah, like, because you're great at it, you can do it. But like my expectation was that, oh, like he just cool where he at. So, which yeah, and so I guess that kind of goes along with like just this past year in terms of just being more vocal and honest about, hey, I do want to grow in speaking, I do want to grow in communicating.
Yeah,
I think I have a passion that I'm trying to navigate through. So yes.
Yeah. So the coming into marriage, being married, seeing me as this one way of just like, okay, this is how Josh has operated. This makes sense to me. This is comfortable. This is the world that we navigate in. He does freelance things. He does video.
Yeah.
This is how he navigates. Now that the role has shifted, are there other things that have shifted as far as like when I did video, there wasn't really much, I don't want to say required of you, but much asked of you. Do you feel like there's more things? Do you feel like there's less things? Do you feel like, how do you feel?
Yeah, no, I think reality is you've now stepped in front of the camera more in terms of just now leading kind of a ministry, I guess you would say that. I guess
you put it that way.
Yeah, kind of leading people. So I felt
leadership to fourth and fifth graders.
Leadership, giving leadership. I just felt like for me, I had to kind of put my own schedule kind of behind me and be like, okay, like how can I help you? Okay, do you need an extra volunteer? Okay, like you want me to go meet this mom and meet this parent and kind of interact with this kid? Not saying that I was never uncomfortable to do that. It was just not something that was not required, but strongly recommended. So when you step into that role, I was like, oh, okay, so now I have to be like, which I feel like I am social, but I have to be extra social and try to just navigate through like, oh, okay, like, okay, if I talk to this mom, she may not know Josh yet, but we can relate on something. So then she can be more comfortable when Josh does talk to her. Even though I'm not a mom, I am a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so that was something that like a big expectation or shift.
No, 100%. No. So how do you feel? I think that's a great observation. So how, in navigating that, what would you recommend to do if somebody else found themselves in that position where it's just like, hey, my partner was doing this the whole time and now they're looking to shift or whatever the case may be? How do you navigate that practically? I heard you say that you let go of your expectations, but what does that look like practically?
Yeah, I think something that that I chose to lean hard into was encouraging you in the gifts that I saw for the role. So, right, I had already knew you had this passion for these certain things. I was like, oh yeah, no, like it's different, but like you actually would be really great at it. And though it's a different avenue and though it's something you might not have navigated before, I saw as you told me more about the role and told me about the description, I'm like, oh no, but like I can see it, like I can see you actually doing it. So a practical point of letting go of expectations is just continuing to encourage, you know, your partner if you feel like that's something that they can take on.
Yeah. I think I think you did that really well. I think you the way I took that in was you basically, as I was pondering what to navigate or what next step to make, you made the argument stronger for the other side of what I was doing, even though things were going to change and expectations were now shifted. You put all that to the side and you made the argument for what could be and helped me to actually see the other side of it. So I think that was extremely helpful And I think that was practical, and it's just catchable to be able to be like, oh, okay, like I'm thinking of this and I'm thinking about it a little bit or whatever, but like to have someone else that you know that's on your side know that, okay, this may change their world a little bit, but still they're willing to make the give you the other side of the argument in an objective way, I thought was extremely helpful.
Yeah. Do you think that was nerve-wracking to kind of bring to me this concept and see if I received it well?
No, I don't. I say no because I think we've built trust, and I think we've kind of patterned our relationship to be open and to navigate. So I think when I bring it to you, I'm bringing it to you in a curious state to see what you see in it. I think yes, I know you're gonna have your feels of this or that, but I think I'm more naturally just curious to see what you see in certain things. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I will say too, because yes, I encouraged you in giftings, but I also was trying to play like devil's advocate of like, okay, are we sure about all aspects of this?
Yeah.
Like, and I think for me that was different because I'm so used to being like the positive encouragement. But I'm like, well, like, okay, like I can see it work, but like it might not be wise for this reason.
Yeah.
So I think that was, if we talk about letting go of expectations, I think for my own self, just trying to play devil's advocate a little bit more as somebody who's a little bit more positive.
Yes, a little bit more positive.
I am.
A little bit more positive.
I am.
You are? You absolutely are. So, yes, so the question we are navigating today is how to respond as a couple when goals change individually, when your goals change individually. And that's a really good point. Is the first thing is like, man, you got to let go of what you thought. You got to let go of your expectation. You got to let go of what you thought. I think for me, as I navigate this, just in a different circumstance, I think finding yourself in circumstances where, again, especially just career, passion, goals, in the context of those things, I think the thing that stands out to me is being able to control being uncomfortable.
I'm sorry. I don't like to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
Unless it's me eating too much food, and then I like eat too much and I'm uncomfortable.
Yes, Brianna. Control being uncomfortable. Here's what I mean by that. I think oftentimes, I'm trying to think of a real life example. But I think just oftentimes when things tend to happen or things tend to change or certain expectations. So let's just say you formerly working in physical therapy as a physical therapist assistant or whatever the case may be. I have this vision, I have this picture of what you do, and I know that I come home at X time, so I know that there's going to be this gap in between where you're not going to be there, so I can do whatever or whatever. Like I've painted and constructed this picture of what it is. So now when that changes, oftentimes for me, sometimes what I realize is the change itself doesn't bother me. The fact that you're shifting to go move to do something else isn't what bothers me. It's the fact that what was once a convenience to me is now inconvenient in the sense of like, I love spending time with you. But I lose that hour. I lose such and such.
Inconvenience.
So it's an inconvenience. So I realize that sometimes when we're navigating things and goals change or things change, it's like we're not really upset about the actual change. We're more concerned about our ability to be comfortable is being disrupted. Do you see that to be true? What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, like absolutely. I think that being uncomfortable can also be from fear because you don't know what's next because you already are uncomfortable in this particular state. So I think it's more so, yes, being uncomfortable because of inconvenience, but also fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
So I think those are two.
No, yep. 100%. And I think, I think a way to combat that, I think, is just starting to be honest about your discomfort.
Yes, acknowledge it.
I think, and it's easy to say, but actually hard to do, because in the moment it's it may not be received well, right? And because think about it, it's, hey, you have this lovely opportunity and it scares me and it's making me uncomfortable. Or you may have this opportunity and you're being elevated, and now I am uncomfortable where I'm at because I'm not being elevated at such pace. And to be able to sit and say that and communicate that to your partner, that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's necessary.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too, something that I'm navigating, well, not navigating, but just processed as you talk, was just like when you did talk about the role, and I was trying to think about, okay, like, should I switch roles? I feel like if you thriving, I'm supposed to be thriving too.
Yes, forever.
For real, like, I was calling us Jay-Z and Beyonce. We trying to take over an empire, but I can't do that if I'm not being at the same scale that he at. I don't understand. But for real, but I think it was like you said, like, as one person is thriving or moving forward, and this other person is kind of like trying to figure out, like, okay, like, how do I fit in? Acknowledging that I'm uncomfortable, but I can still support you despite me being uncomfortable.
Yeah. I think the most helpful thing you can do, I don't know if it's just because I value honesty so much or what, but I think the most valuable thing you can do is, I rather know, like, hey, this is what I'm wrestling with, versus you pretending and you like acting another way, and I know something's bothering you. Like, I don't know, like, I rather know what it is, because I don't judge. I try not to judge you or judge people for that feeling, because I think that feeling is natural. I think it's what you do with the feeling afterwards is the real telltale sign. But like, because you feel that way, it's a natural feeling. Like, I'm not going to judge you for that. So I think that's kind of just some things that we think about. So I think in all that I'm hearing, as we kind of summarize and wrap this up, what I'm hearing is that when it comes to goals changing or careers changing or what you think is changing, sometimes it has less to do about the change and more to do about you.
Okay.
Like, I think that's what I'm hearing in this.
Yes, quite accurate. I think to sum that up even more is that you have to be comfortable with who you are, and know who you are, and know that what God is giving you is enough for you. It don't have to be for anybody else.
Why are you trying to preach after I preach?
I'm just trying to, thrive with him. Don't be leaving me behind. No, I don't know. I just felt like that.
Yes. Nope. I think that is a great point. So when it comes to responding as a couple, when your goals change individually, here are two things we think you should be thinking about, right? Yes. Number one, we think you should be thinking about letting go of expectations, just letting go of what it is that you think should be happening. And then two, control being uncomfortable.
Yes.
All right. Well, we thank y'all for taking your time and watching this conversation.
Yes.
We'll see you next time.
See y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.